What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Cult of Collectors with my co-hosts, John from Low IQ Media, as well as Jody from Stills Raising 4Ks. And our special
Hello.
guest tonight is actor Eric Edwards, who's been in movies like Problem Child 2, Problem Child 3, Sergeant Bilko, Blade, and a plethora of other, projects. So thank you, Eric, for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me, guys.
We
Thank you for
appreciate it
showing
very
up.
much.
Awesome.
Yes.
Good to have
You're
you, man.
basically our first actual actor on our stream.
Yeah.
Well, I'm honored. I am honored. I'll make the best of it. So let's get to work.
No
here.
worries.
What's going on here? This is the first. I think this might be the first live stream.
Oh,
I've
really?
done. I've done I've
really?
done podcast, but
Yeah.
never a live stream. And I've done.
Oh, I see.
I've done TV. I've done TV interviews,
Yes.
but never like
like this,
what you
like
kids
almost like a
call
Zoom
live.
call.
What you kids
interview.
call a live stream.
Don't call us
Yeah.
kids. Come on, man.
Well, you're my age. Sorry for the terrible background. I'm keeping an eye on my son at the same time as I'm doing this.
Yeah, no, it's all
so
good.
We've all got
Awesome.
crazy lives.
Mm-hmm.
I think you and John might be closer in age.
Well,
bit.
yeah, I'm looking at the way our physical structure
44.
is. I'm guessing. Yeah.
I'm 44. You look pretty
I'm
good.
56, my friend.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, you
can
look
be
better than me. Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. That's what we do in LA. We look a little
Yeah.
bit better. It's
Yeah.
A little
Gotta
bit more
have that
sun.
modification.
I'm in Kentucky, so
God bless Kentucky, though. God bless you.
Yeah.
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 Actually, that's one of my favorite states. Been there several times.
oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What have you done here?
Oh, Kentucky?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, relatives. This was back in
Relative.
when I was a kid. We went to
Nice. Yes. Yeah.
I think we have maybe some some of our folks lived, like my dad was researching a family history book of our family history.
Nice.
Okay.
And a few Kentucky and Louisiana, but and then Kentucky. I was actually is it which shares the airport with Cincinnati? What city in Kentucky is
Lexington and
Lexington.
Louisville. Louisville's the big one.
I went to I think the national speech and debate tournament
Oh wow.
was there in
Oh.
like 1988 or 89, and I was
Wow.
I was a coach for
Yeah.
I coached some kids there, so I got to go. Yeah.
Makes you
Okay.
wonder if you two might be distant cousins and don't know it.
Oh, look out.
All right, well, I do have some bad genetics, so there could have been some cousins, inappropriate.
I
behavior
definitely
cousins.
have bad genetics, but not but my family tree is not a stump kind of genetic. So
Mine's
Right.
a little straight at times. Not a lot of branches. You
Yeah.
know. So what now? What's the you guys are film collectors? Is that sort of your common?
Yes, we collect movies, not just
Yes.
movies, but also say TV shows that we're big fans of, and
Nice.
just whatever is available to purchase as a physical, disc or VHS, whatever it may be.
Mhm.
But yeah,
It's funny. I'm looking at the crow behind you, and I used to hang out with Sophia Shaness a lot. The girl that
Oh,
played
nice.
Eric's played Brendan
Thank you.
Lee's girlfriend.
Yeah.
that played Shelley Webster.
Yes.
Oh wow,
And I have a very funny story about. First of all,
go for it, tell it.
breathtakingly beautiful,
Yeah, go ahead and
Oh,
tell
yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah.
insanely
Uh-huh.
talented young lady. And she was on the set when he got shot.
Yeah.
And it really. What's the language on this? Just that.
Oh, you
I
can say
think-
whatever.
Okay, it
Yeah,
really
Her up
fucked
is
her up.
probably good.
It
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
and, it was weird because I was actually shooting Beverly Hillbillies at the time,
Mhm.
and there's a lot of guns on the show, so they were like, I'm handing you an unloaded weapon. I'm receiving an unloaded weapon.
Yeah.
We had to go through
Yeah.
the process because of what went on with the Crow.
Yeah.
And so when she got back, we started hanging out, and I mean look, I've never seen someone get shot and
Right.
die in front of me. That especially so unexpected. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, so I don't know how I could see that could just jack up anybody. All right.
Uh-huh.
And so she started alluding that he might be present a lot of times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So one day, and I'm hanging out with her a lot because
Yeah.
she's gorgeous,
Oh, yeah,
and
beautiful.
she's very smart, and she can sing, and she looked like Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean, she was. I think she might have been like a Miss Canada at one time.
They could have passed off as a real couple, I believe, Brandon and her.
Oh yeah, and she was. I mean, she was enamored by him, and she had talked to him about me. Because I was like one of her. I was very close to her at one time, and so one day, I mean, she's like saying, "Yeah, he's here, he's here with us." And I'm like, "Oh." I have a dream one night where I'm fighting Brendan Lee in my dream.
Oh, wow.
I wake up and I'm like 10 feet out of my bed.
Really?
Yeah. Now I have a history of sleepwalking and sleep moving. But
Okay.
now check this out. So I said, yeah, weird. I had a weird dream that I got in a fight with Brendan Lee last night, and I woke up, like he was kicking my ass, and I woke up outside, 10 feet away from my bed. And she goes, well, he's jealous that you still get to act and he doesn't.
Oh.
I was like, oh, woo.
Maybe it wasn't his dad, Bruce.
Because that would really make this seem a little bit more comfortable for me.
Right?
Yeah, no, The Crow is like my favorite movie of all time. It literally is.
Can I tell you something? That, it's really weird because that sort of was a predecessor to kind of Blade, like as far as going a rated R.
That comic book rated R, yeah.
Yep.
Movie. And I know Blade gets a lot of, and look, I mean, and actually I think Blade was the one that really cracked. I mean, it cracked the formula other than a Superman or Batman.
Oh, of course.
Scenario.
Right. Yes.
It was like, let's get phenomenal actors.
Yeah.
Yes.
To be in these movies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that, to me, that's why Blade was, and also Blade was rated R. I think really helped it be done. Now, I don't know how the PG-13 Blade will be, but
yeah.
But the actor is insane. I mean, he is.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely
good.
I've seen him play some evil roles in even just TV shows too.
Oh yeah, no, that dude's got chops. That dude's got chops.
Oh yeah.
He was on an episode of Law and Order SVU as a killer.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
And I love me some Wesley Snipes, especially early Wesley Snipes. And in Wesley, quite nice to me. Don't have very many stories other than him passing a joint to me at the rap party. Other than that, very little. I mean, he was very mellow guy.
Yeah.
Nice.
But this dude might have more chops.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't know physical. I don't know physical
that.
ability, but that dude definitely has done a lot of range, like crazy range.
He's got a good range of acting, in my opinion, but when it comes to say that whole physical martial arts Wesley brought, makes me wonder what are they going to do with him.
And everyone forget. I mean, Wesley was martial arts, but Wesley was first a dancer.
So was Bruce Lee.
Yeah, actually, everyone forgets about that. Yeah, Bruce Lee was a cha-cha guy.
Yeah.
I'll be back in just a second. I'm just gonna make sure my kid's not getting in front. No, he's cool. He's good. Okay, cool.
You're good.
Yeah. He's gonna need my help in a second. But everyone forgets Bruce Lee was a cha-cha dancer.
Yep.
That's hilarious. And I think Brendan Lee was probably a good dancer too.
Oh, I'm sure.
It all comes back to Brendan Lee. All right, so now I've done enough talking. You guys talk.
Oh, come on. We love hearing you.
We were enjoying the stories.
I would just love
I've
to
got
hear.
plenty.
Oh, sure. I would just love to hear. Just take it all the way back. Just kind of walk us through what brought you into getting into film and everything.
Okay.
How long were you in Kansas? I seen you were from Kansas originally, and
hold that thought. Let me just.
Yeah.
Okay, no, my kid's busy right now. Okay, so
okay.
I was born in Kansas. My dad was in the military, so we traveled around a lot.
Okay.
I mean, do you want the long story? You don't want the short story?
Up to you. We don't care.
Yes.
It's a 2-hour show for us.
I went to junior high and high school.
Yeah.
It was the most time I ever spent in Kansas. But up until then, it was like, a year here, 2 months there, and then as soon as I wasn't even 18. As soon as I got accepted to out of state, the University of Arizona, I didn't even have a place to stay. I just packed up my car and drove. I was still 17. I turned 20. I think I turned 18 like about a weekend.
Okay.
Kind of a weekend, orientation and shit.
Yeah.
And because I'm not a fan of the cold weather, and in this in the subtle racism but I would move to the warm weather in subtle racism of Arizona. At least the climate is better. But I wanted to be like I wanted to be like an attorney and a politician.
Okay.
I was a debater. My best friend in high school was the actor, and he insanely talented kid, one of the funniest human beings ever walked the face of the earth. Like insanely. I was actually very lucky in high school. I had a lot of funny friends.
Okay.
Like everybody, or me and my best friend would bring the funny out of people.
Mhm.
There you go.
I mean, because my wife, when she went back to like our high school reunion, or whenever I went back home and brought my wife, she'd be like, you have so many friends that are real funny. I just go, and I do. They were always funny in high school. We had a good sense of humor. They were always. When I grew up in Kansas, it was a kind of a very interesting. Kansas is a very interesting state.
Yeah.
It's very rural, but yet it's also very intellectual on certain levels. Like this is a very weird trivia thing, but Kansas high schools have closed out the finals of the high school debate tournaments, national tournaments.
Yeah.
So out of all the high schools in the United States, it's been closed out a couple of years in a row by 2 schools from Kansas.
Okay.
So there's debate is, it's actually, when you're, in order to have comedy to a degree, it deals with a lot, it deals a lot of, there's a lot of intellectual, you have to have a lot of things to pull from and put it together quickly, and then disrupt it,
right.
All that kind of stuff. So I think that has a little bit to do with it. And I remember our high school. I mean, there was like like all the friends I hung out with, whether they were, they were farmers or they would be in the VOTEC program. They were also in AP classes as well, like crazy.
Yeah.
I wasn't, of course. I'm such an overachiever. If you look at my SAT scores,
Mhm.
they would be like, you sure you want to go to college? So I'm very, I think I graduated like right in the middle of my class. Very, I'm
Nice.
I've done a lot with what was given to me, intellectually. So I was also around funny people, and my second best friend was, used to work at a movie theater, and he was the first kid, he was the first kid that had this thing called a VCR in our neighborhood. Back before, back when they were like, to buy a movie, it was like $150. It was really
yes.
No, I remember.
It was stupid.
There was no block. I mean, it was really crazy. But he was the first one that had like a VCR and Atari and stuff. So he turned me on to like what Spinal Tap.
Oh, nice.
Okay, and then and I always liked movies, and it was always been a kind of a Christmas tradition that I would also go see a movie on Christmas. I'd be one of those things. Oh, are you doing the vape? Are you smoking a little bit of weed? And, I miss those days.
Charlie's all over here. We'll bust out 40 here.
But Eric, you and I both live in the same state.
I know. Yeah. I have smoked legal marijuana.
Okay.
I had to exercise my legal right once to smoke legal. I bought plenty of illegal marijuana in my day. Plenty. Matter of fact, I was so big. I had the same drug dealer as not Green Day. Gym Blossoms.
Okay.
Like they were, whenever they come to LA, they'd use the same guy. Hold on, let me do this.
Nice.
Hilarious.
So this kid turned me on to like Spinal Tap and all the kind of cool movies. He'd always let me in to see movies free, and then all the Matter of fact, we were supposed to be studying for the SAT, and this kid was actually very, very smart, much intellectually more gifted than I was. We didn't study. We were watching I can't remember. I think maybe we were watching Friday the 13th Part 2.
Oh,
there you
Uh,
go.
you know, and also because of that very special swim scene.
Right.
If you all,
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. You know, I had a, you know, that back in my day, it came on the HBO. You had to like literally time it just because you know you had no DVR to
Yeah.
reverse and pause and all that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, no one disturb me. So yeah, we like became like a big. He was a big movie guy, you know, and that just
Okay.
got me. I was like, you know, that was also like a secret passion. You know, and I would help my buddy that was in the theater program with his lines and stuff. And I was like, okay. And then, you know, I went to college and I got introduced to alcohol. So, you know, I think I went to, you know, I guessed a 2.0 my first semester.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why I said guessed is because I just would show up for the test.
Yeah.
And you know, randomly whatever got through. Long story short, I my buddies that were in the film program started putting me in their films.
Oh, okay.
And then there was a place called Laughs that opened up in Tucson, a comedy club.
Okay.
And then everyone just said, "Hey, man!" And I debated in college. I would you know, I was part of the debate program there, and I just was like, "Fuck it, I should just do this," you know. So I had like I was running out of money to graduate, so I created my own major, with basically where you have 3 minors. Like you know, I had poli-sci communications, and like I created this kind of film, acting, all that, and you know, I took a lot of film classes, like you know, history of film, and you know, like really where I got to see like a lot of cool movies, and I always had HBO. You know, I just was like, okay, I'm going to do this, and I did stand up.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I gotta do this. And then I got a job on Young Riders as a production assistant. My the first guy I ever got high with, and the first guy I actually had a conversation with, the University of Arizona. And you know, we fell in and out of touch. We were in a frat together. You know, he randomly recommended me to fill in for him as a production assistant on Young Riders.
Oh.
And I was so good with my Kansas work ethic. You know, taking out the trash. Do you need some coffee?
Right.
What can I do for you? I'm just happy to be in this. I was riding a motorcycle. I was riding a motorcycle because I couldn't afford a car at that time, and they didn't even know I didn't have a car. You know, so I was doing runs on a motorcycle. Like I was risking my life. But long story, I worked so hard that they said, you know what? We're going to fire your friend, and we're going to keep you.
Oh, wow.
And then I turned that into a SAG card. You know, I got a SAG card. It was funny because they actually bought me my car that I drove out. They gave me a company car to drive and take home.
Nice.
And then until one guy complained, wait a second, why does this PA have a car and I'm head of a department and I don't have one? So they took the car away, and then they all chipped in and bought me a car. You know, I owned a car that Josh Brolin and Melissa Leo and Steve Baldwin put some money into.
Nice.
And it was funny because they were like, the guy was joking around. He goes, look, you needed more money, we gave you more money. You needed less hours, we worked that out. You needed a car, we bought you a car. Is there anything else we could do for you before we go to Hollywood? Back to Hollywood. I went, I could really use a SAG car.
Right.
The guy said, all right, what do you want to say?
Yeah.
So I came out to LA, got a job at one of the accountants from Young Riders hooked me up with the job at Klasky Chupo, which they were the animation company that did like the Rugrats, and at that time they did The Simpsons.
Oh wow, yeah.
So, it was a production assistant job, but basically I was in LA.
Okay.
So I was here, Yeah. And I had a buddy, my best friend from college, who got me into like doing, like put me on all the student films and all that kind of stuff, was working at Kinko's. That's for you guys out there. They used to make what was called copies. and you would go there to use a computer because we didn't all have computers.
They make you everything. You need a flyer, go to Kinko's.
Go to Kinko's.
Go to Kinko's.
Come in at 10 p.m. I'm working. You can use the computer for free. I'll make all the copies you need, blah, blah. So I did that. Hold on, I got to check on my kid real quick.
Yeah, that's fine.
You're good.
Right.
Interesting so
Hello,
far.
that horror dude.
I believe.
saw that over in the chat. Hello, if you're still here, that horror dude. Thank you for coming by. I sent him a link a couple days ago. Let him know we were doing this.
Yeah.
You sent who a link?
He stopped in.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Jody?
I'm not sure still.
I was asking what you just said.
Oh, I sent a link to this guy that's over in the chat. His handle is that horror dude. And he's over here saying hello. Yeah. And it's good to see that he clicked on the link. I actually just posted a link in my story. Just hoping we'll get some more eyes on it.
Okay. I'm back.
Excellent.
All right.
So this like about midnight. I've typed up my resume, and that was actually one thing I was very good at was writing resumes, like knowing how to lie just enough to where they can't bust me, but just very slick. I'm getting it printed out and copied and stuff.
Yeah.
And this really nice nosy lady is kind of like looking over at it and looking at me, and she goes, "Oh, that's a really good resume." And I go, "Oh, it is." She goes, "Yeah, because I don't know who you are, but you look like you've done enough stuff that I can't bust you on, and but enough to where it looks like you might know what you're doing."
Yeah,
that's a good resume. I go, "Oh," I go, "What do you do?" She goes, "Well, I work in casting." I said, "Oh, you do?"
I'm a damn.
So that's weird. But a friend of mine at Paramount is looking for someone like your type. Because also my other friend at Universal mentioned that if I knew anyone that kind of looked like you, I go, well, gee, ma'am, how does a boy from Kansas get in contact with one of those people? What do I do? And she took out a Post-it, she goes, "Well, here's Valerie's address, who's head of casting at Universal at the time." And she goes, I go, "Okay, so do I just, what should I say? Should I say you sent me?" Or she goes, "Dear Valerie, this is my new friend, Eric Edwards. He's a very talented actor. You should bring him in if you need, you should really come in and see him." So, I saved the note. I didn't, my headshots, a buddy of mine, this is how poor I was, a buddy of mine, found a place that we had you could ship your headshots to. That like it would take 3 weeks for them to reproduce them, but it would save you like $200, and So I finally got so long story short, I randomly sent it, and the story goes in the office. She's going, "Who do these people think they are? Just like, who's this Eric Edwards guy? It's handwritten envelope. And then she opens it and goes, oh, and it had the note on it. So I got brought in for a small part on Problem Child 2.
Yeah.
And when I go in, I meet Valerie. She goes, How'd you meet Laura? I said, I met her at a Kinko's at midnight. And she went, wow. And then she goes, how old are you? And I go, 21. I was like 23, 20. I might have been 25 even. I can't remember. But I was lie about your age. 21.
Yeah.
She went, wow. She goes, do you have an agent? I go, hold on a second.
Answer is always yes. Yes, I have an agent.
Do you have an agent? I went, no. She went, wow. Where are you from? Kansas. Wow. And I said,
wow.
I go, are those good wows or bad wows? She goes, no, those are good wows. And then I get a call to go meet producers. So I go with my boy Bill, this kid Bill Torres. He kind of like took me under his wing when I first came to LA. Phenomenal, probably one of the greatest should have beens who never was. Like, he just gave up doing something. He was brilliantly. I mean, like Adam Sandler, respects him. Chris Rock bought a joke from him. One of Chris Rock's legendary jokes was actually written by him. First legendary jokes was
nice.
Just a genius. He actually helped me with the audition. When I got the sides, and I actually had to go on my lunch break to the audition and everything. So I get called, and I'm going to producers. Quiet, Bob. I go to what's called producers. So I go, and he decides to come with me. He goes, I'll come with you. So we go. I go into the producer session, and they're fucking laughing like nobody's fucking. I mean, and I come out, and we're starting to walk out, and Bill goes, "Did you doing your acting there?" I go, "No." He goes, "Holy shit, dude! Good producers don't." He goes, "Holy fuck, dude! They don't act like that." And then we're about ready to exit, and Valerie comes running out. She goes, "Hold on! We want you to read for a bigger part."
Huh.
And then she hands me. She goes, "Here, just take a few minutes and come back in." I leave because Bill's like tired. We go down to the Fat Burger. I pump some coffee in him. I come back an hour and a half later. They literally had almost given up on me, and because they meant like take 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, sit down and read this.
Yeah,
don't walk off.
But I've learned something. As an actor, you can do and ask for anything, as long as it pays off.
Yeah,
right.
If it doesn't, you're a crazy actor.
Yeah.
So, and luckily for me, I was too stupid to know what I was doing. That I just, what I'm saying? It was like one of those like ignorance was bliss, and I fucking lit it out. I knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
So then I'm waiting. Once again, I had no agent. So I'm sitting around waiting, and okay, what's going on? And then like 2 weeks later, I got a call saying they want to bring you in for a screen test. And so they brought me in. So, and then, of course, all my friends that had been in the business going, "Oh, dude, it must be between you and another person." And later, I found out I was their only guy they brought. I had the part after that first audition.
Wow.
For Murph. And I mean, the studio had ideas they were pitching to the writers. Like I guess Richard Tyson they wanted maybe. Guys that looked nothing like me at that time.
Yeah.
Right.
And they just fell in love with me. And then I did the screen test, and she gave me one more. She goes, "You really don't have an agent?" I go, "No." She goes, "Wow." So, and this was like end of October. I was like literally one of the first people cast, other than obviously Michael Oliver and John Ritter and Yazbek.
Yeah, because I was kind of curious what your memories were like on the set of Problem Child 2. With like how often you actually got to hang out with John Ritter. In general, because I know you guys didn't have like really much screen time.
Dude, I'll tell you. Let me. I'll be back in 1 second. That's literally. I'll tell you the coolest.
Yeah.
The coolest fucking guys. Bob, come here. Bob, come here.
I love dogs with people's names.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's the best thing ever.
I almost lost it.
Bob.
Oh God.
Bob.
My dog came with his name. So I was like, damn it, missed opportunity.
I actually had a cat with the same name as me.
That'd just be weird.
Oh yeah. Was it your cat?
But I didn't name him. He was already named that.
Did Problem Child 2, it filmed in Florida, correct?
Yeah, Orlando.
Okay.
And what was cool about that whole situation was, I think I my last audition would have been like, I might have been November 1st, like very beginning of November, or very end of October.
Mm-hmm.
Waited a couple weeks. Once again, I had no agent, no communication going on.
Yeah.
Through this process. So I called the office, and the secretary goes, "Just to let you know, I don't have any news for you, but I've been hearing your name around the office a lot."
Oh wow.
I don't know. Long story short, which is a long story. December 31st.
Yeah.
5 p.m. Or no, 6 p.m. I basically said if I didn't hear by that day,
yeah,
I'm just gonna forget about it. I went and saw 2 movies. Like in other words, I stayed out of the house.
Yeah.
I didn't even have work to go to because it was Classic Chubo's on a hiatus. 5:59. I look at the clock. Go, we're looking at my answer machine. I guess I didn't get it. Phone fucking rings.
Yes.
We all look at me, my 2 roommates look at each other. Pick it up. Hello? Hi, Eric, this is Valerie from Universal. Yeah.
That awkward.
And she goes, "We'd like to, we'd like to cast you in it." And then this was so funny. She goes, "It only pays scale." I'm like, I don't care. Are you kidding me? You know? And so yeah, she goes, I'm assuming you want it, yeah. And she goes, is there anything you want? Anything I can do for you? I go, well, if you know of an agent or two, if there's an agent you can maybe introduce me to, that would be really nice. And so I called Bill. Go, Bill, I got the part. We went out. I did stand up. We went to celebrate at Rock and Roll Denny's on.
Nice.
Right by the Ralphs on Sunset Boulevard. I don't know if it's still there or not. We used to call it Rock and Roll Denny's, and we're going through what was called an agent. You used to be able to buy this book like Samuel French, which had all the agencies and all this in there, and you'd look through it. And there was this great agency called Spotlight, which handled like Jerry Seinfeld, Lenny Clark, Paul Reiser. Basically, he was one of the guys that handled stand-up, saw stand-ups, and we can transfer them into acting.
Yeah,
I was like, this would be perfect for me if I could get in there, because I want to pursue my stand-up as well. And that was like that was going to be the first people I was going to contact. I was them, and then of course all CAA, all the people that I knew I would not get into, and then other agencies that were really good. I shit you not, January 1st, the next day, January 1st, at 10 a.m., I get a phone call. I'm like, hello. They goes, Eric there. I go, this is Eric. And he goes, let me introduce myself. I'm friends with Valerie Carefree. My name is Scott Lemon. I'm with an agency called Spotlight. I go, oh, you mean Spotlight at 5365 Wilshire Boulevard, Suite 201? Yes, you're familiar with us. I go, well, I was about ready to write you a letter, sir. He goes, well, why don't you so I ended up signing with them, and, I had a really, that's when I got like Miracle Beach, The Pickle. I got this phenomenal, short-lived, I call it a miniseries, but it was one of the first syndicated sitcoms. It was called Our Old School. It was with Norman Feld and Teddy Wilson, Ruth Brown. Basically the concept of all these, basically a bunch of two college students couldn't get dorm space, so they moved into an old folks home and had to pretend they were real. So I got to work with two of my heroes from Three's Company. Now, John Ritter.
Yes.
I booked, Prom Child 2. I get, I fly out to Florida, first class, which was pretty fucking cool. And at the same time, they were shooting the movie with Macaulay Culkin. About the kid. No. No, I wish. No, it
Uncle
was
Buck.
My Girl.
Buck.
My Girl, is that it?
My Girl.
My Girl.
Or Getting Even with Dad.
No, it was called My Girl. It was
My Girl.
It was like the serious one with the. She became such a. I think she's now grown up, and she was in. I think she was in Veep.
Yeah. She's like the assistant on Veep.
So amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, God damn, this fucking bitch can act.
Right.
Yeah, and sitting in first class with me was he was
Anna something.
He was a dude from he was actually president of SAG for a while, but he was on One Day at a Time. He played the girl, the man that was her attorney that she was kind of like put in the friend zone.
All right.
What is his name?
I'm blanking on it myself.
But he's fucking been in tons of things. But I was like, oh, is he in this movie?
Nah.
But he was filming another movie in Florida. So I get off set. We go right to the set. They put me to wardrobe. They get me to wardrobe. And then they start working on the harness for the chalkboard. That was like what they. And we shot. We actually shot the chalkboard scene.
Mm-hmm.
All the stuff on the actual chalkboard. And I was Anna Chomsky. That's right.
Yeah.
And I was like so excited to work. And I mean, I was like holding myself up on my toe. I mean, I was insanely cooperative, And so the next day when I got to the set, first person I see is John Ritter. And he stops filming, walks right up to me and goes, I heard you were such a professional yesterday. I am so excited to work with you. I was so excited to see your screen test. Yeah. I'm so happy you decided to be part of this project. I was like, because he's one of the comedy gods.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, Problem Child was a very the first one was insanely good.
Yes.
So original.
Yeah.
And the second movie when you hear about like they literally got greenlit, they when they cast me, they didn't even have a script. They just had some ideas.
Right.
They were writing the script. I mean, it got greenlit like literally, like the second week in the box office of Problem Child, because it was such a success. And they let them do they basically gave them carte blanche. And what they did is they wrote an homage to John Water films. So when when you look at it through that lens, you're like, oh wow, this is really very much smarter than what it played out to, like what you perceive when you that's the bright colors and the whole thing, and there's so many like Easter eggs to John Waters in that movie. And here's what was so cool, and this is all about ego. About 5 years ago, I guess one of the it might have been the 20th reunion or something like that. They got us all together to watch the movie, and Mike Oliver was there, Larry and Scott were there, the director, Lorraine Newman. I don't know if Amy was there. She might not have been there for that, but and when I was when I had done it, it wasn't necessarily made for my age group, right? You know what I'm saying, and people can be jealous and whatever. So I kind of, of course, I saw that movie like 4 or 5 times in the theater because my friends would make me go see it. I didn't appreciate it like I should have, because it wasn't Animal House. It wasn't. Right. You know what I'm saying? Or at least I didn't perceive it as that. Does that make sense? I didn't, because, my comic friends would say snide comments about it, and of course, we opened against Terminator 2. And, I mean, dude, come on. It was,
whose idea was this?
I mean, that was a fucked up weekend for us to get, in another crazy big franchise fucking movie.
At least give us a week, damn it,
it was July 4th weekend, I think it was.
Oh damn!
So it was like I think Prom Child 2 took third, or which
that's
is
not bad. That's third.
Crazy good considering John Ritter, a TV star.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's
why did say number 3 no theatrical, but like more of a made to TV movie?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, 3 was a made for TV movie. But
it's a funny movie. It's every bit as funny as the first movie.
What, Prom Child 2?
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
It's for a sequel, because sometimes sequels like that tend to not live up to their expectations, and I think that one very much did.
Well, check this out.
I believe that.
Yeah.
When I saw it during the 20-year reunion, when it couldn't do anything for me, I'm 20 some years older. I look nothing like it. You know what I'm saying? It's out of the lexicon of talk. I got to sit and watch it and enjoy it as an audience member.
Yeah.
Not as like, oh god, my future depends on this bullshit. And I was like, holy fuck, this is a really. I mean, there were some really amazing structured callback jokes. Like, I was like, God, I can totally see the guys that wrote People versus Larry Flint. Wrote Ed Wood. Wrote, and also, like I said, the first Prom Child is so. I mean, the guy worshipped a serial killer.
I love those movies. I mean, I love Problem Child, both 1 and 2.
Some of my favorite movies,
and also the cast Jack Warden at that time.
It's
the devil. I mean, just
he cracked me up,
dude. So fucking funny. And Amy Yazbek, holy Christ!
Oh yeah,
that woman is not only geniusly funny, but just so beautiful and so nice, dude. I ran into her and John, after I did Sergeant Bilko, and I had a lot of success, and I ran into her randomly at a movie theater, and she was like, "Oh, Eric, John and I are so proud of you," and to hear that John Ritter is proud of me.
Yeah,
that's so. You know what I'm saying? That's a pretty. That's like.
Well, I heard he was a very kind-hearted man in general.
Oh yeah.
Me and my buddy Bill produced a movie. Wrote and produced a movie, and
Stay tuned.
No, it was called King of the Open Mics. And I think it was called Fat Man Mr. Taco. But John was going to do it, but we couldn't work out the dates.
Oh.
And I just wrote a letter saying, "Hey, I worked with you on Problem Child 2." And Bill had actually had a development deal with him years ago. And he was like, let's see if we can. When are you going to shoot? Let's see if we can work out the dates. He's a really cool dude. And I remember it's funny when I got to go to the when we had the first screening of the movie where it was just the cast and family and stuff. I took one of my agents with me as opposed to taking a hot piece of ass. But I took one of my agent because this is a story. So I'm there, and after the movie ends, get up, and I see Henry Winkler.
Oh God.
Who, dude? I mean, and he's one of my, he's one of my gods. Not only as a director, but also as Fonz, and then the movies he did. And he's just so fucking cool. He's looking at me because I don't look 100% like Murph. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I'm cleaned up at the time.
Yeah.
And he walks up, like I'm sitting in the middle, makes his way. Very good job, young man. You are very talented. And I was like, because he could have easily just did the head nod. Trust me, I've been in movies where people just say, I did the head nod. I was like, oh, Henry Winkler. So, and being a kid from Kansas and from Arizona, I mean, I was just so fucking starstruck. I mean, like that's the biggest. That's the one thing I wish I was slightly better at not being starstruck.
I try not to be, only because I don't want it to be awkward.
Oh well, can I tell you something? Sometimes that makes it even more awkward.
Well, no, I mean, like if I like right now, the way we're chatting with each other is just two human beings having a casual conversation. I mean, yeah, you're someone that I saw as a kid that was on the big screen, and that's amazing. Oh. But at the same time, I got to remember that's still a human being,
Yes, but with all that being said, I'm not John Ritter. I'm not Steve Martin.
I get that, but
and I like the guys that like in other words, the coolest thing I've gotten. There's the kid's name. He's semi. Actually, he's on his way to being very, very famous. He's got a couple. He's in a movie now. He's got a really good run going.
Okay.
And randomly on Instagram, he sent me a message and said, "Hey, that kick you did in Problem Child 2, was that your idea? Was that improvised?" And I was like, yes, they had heard I was a martial artist, and they said I could do whatever I wanted to do on that. And because I knew it was. And I'm like, oh, wow, someone who's much more famous than me right now was inspired by my little, like that little meme.
Yeah.
And, it was, I mean, it's just like, I wish I would have enjoyed. Well, like, fortunately or unfortunately, however it plays out, like, say, Problem Child 2 and Bilko were much more successful on VHS and DVD and cable than they were in the theater.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that being said, there's like, for instance, you're 12 years younger than me. And then you're probably 20, maybe 18 years, 20 years younger.
I'm pushing 40.
Yeah. So, so you're like, there's that age group where you guys, those movies were really meant for you guys.
Yeah.
That's when the VCR and the DVD players were the babysitters.
Basically.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, there was I remember I always tell it's a cute story. I also it's not cute. There's I used to meet this very very attractive female comedian who I was helping. I'd show up at her. I'd help her with auditions. She's a very good actress. As well as a phenomenal comedian. And I'd go to auditions with her, help her out and stuff. And we're at this, we're helping her out with an audition. And from the show Family Matters, the girl that Urkel was really into.
Oh,
whatever that was.
Laura. She played Laura.
Yeah, very attractive young lady. This would have been like 25, 20.
Yeah, I forget her name.
This would have been like 99, 2000.
Yeah.
And this attractive, because now that it's been a while since that show, but I never watched Family Matters. You know what I'm saying? Because
I was a fan.
It was out of my lexicon, and it was at that time where you had to tape things off of VCR, so you choose your movies.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And she kept on like eyeing at me, looking at me, and then she goes, and I guess her sister was really, and she goes, were you in Prom Child 2? And I was like, yeah. She goes, we watch that every day in our trailer. And I was like, oh, and then, randomly I'll be someplace and some person will hear my voice. Go,
when it comes to all of your projects, what are you most known for like, whether it's Blade, Problem Child 2, Sergeant Bilko, like, what do people recognize you more from?
Mostly from Problem Child. Well, luckily I'm not the same size I was in most of those movies physically, but Blade, you got to really be an Eric Edwards nerd to know it's me, because I'm in prosthetic makeup. I'm in there's a guy playing my right arm, a guy playing my left arm. I'm using my mom's voice, and then they put it on computer, and you know what I'm saying? So, one person randomly go, "Were you in Blade?" And I go, "Yeah."
Like, for real?
I go, "How could you tell?" He goes, "Your eyes." I'm like, "Wow, you must have been really, like I'm looking around
paying attention."
Yeah,
too much.
Pretty creepy shit. But
that guy was high as hell.
He was very. I know those eyes.
That dude was out of it.
He was smoking that illegal marijuana.
There you go.
Yeah, but see, the legal stuff is much stronger. God bless it. I'm getting high just through the computer.
I wish it could go through.
The most I could, it's weird. It's either Prom Child 2, Bilko. Senior Trip is a big because of Jeremy Renner being so famous.
I love that movie. That's fun.
Thank you. And that's once again, dude. It's for a brief time I worked at Nielsen.
Blonde Japanese.
Yeah.
I got a challenge for both John and Jody then, because I know I don't personally have it, but John or Jody, do you guys have National Lampoon's Senior Trip?
No, damn it.
It's hard to find. I got it on Laserdisc. But
John's
look who's on the video cover. Not Jeremy Renner. No. Eric Edwards. That's it. That's who's on there. on the front.
Nice.
That's who's on the front. On the back
awesome.
we're all there. That Senior Trip. Well, for a brief time, I worked for Nielsen. We did the ratings. We used to do all the focus groups for films and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so one day, for shits and giggles, my boss goes, "Hey, tell me a movie you're in." And I went, National Lampoon. She goes, we tested. We only tested it once. And this is back when it was they were testing, because it ended up getting a rated R. But they did a screening they did a PG-13 screening.
Okay.
And the scores were through the roof. And he's like, what happened to the movie? I go, well, they decided to make it rated R. They go, oh. So most of the, it wasn't rated R enough to where people would have like snuck in to go see it or go see it three times in a row. If they would have just barely made it PG-13, I think it would have been a huge hit. And then it is. Look, dude, Jeremy Renner. It's fun. It was great working. First of all, to this day, that's one of my favorite experiences was being in Canada with Jeremy Renner. And
just to make sure I'm correct, Jeremy Renner's the one who plays Hawkeye, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I want to make sure I got my.
Two-time Academy Award
that his first
actor?
Was that his first movie? Technically, first feature, probably.
Yeah, I think it was his first feature. He did a lot of commercials and some TVs, and maybe a TV movie of the week or something like that. But that was like his first film. I was the big name as far as the kids went. They were pissed too. I had like a really nice trailer. I shared a trailer with mine was attached to Tommy Chong. I would get a contact high from all the weed he was smoking. And I always tell this story because God bless my friends. They gave me like a whole gross of condoms, thinking I was going to use them, which I could write a book on how to get laid when you're a 4 between a 4 and a 6. I can tell you how to make it, how to pull, because it happened. I just could have did it more often if I wasn't so chicken shit, you know.
Yeah. Right.
Get stuck with my game, you know, being a funny guy. Hey, let's just laugh. You can tell me all your emotional
Like
shit.
Robin Williams, like it was just a certain confidence he had in himself to be that goofy that everybody was just attracted to.
Well, here's what's crazy: girls will give any guy a chance if you really do make him. But you got to be man enough to pull that trigger. Now, granted, if you look like Jeremy Renner, and also he's funny, or if you look like, you know, obviously, if you're a 10, that's, you know, you can get like I had a buddy of mine we used to joke about. I go, he could get laid walking out of the free clinic with a positive STD test. You know, that's how he could jump out of an airplane and like actually run into some pussy because he's that handsome. You know?
Just fell right in. Damn it.
You know, he's that guy. So, but
Sorry,
like,
Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy. But here's what was funny is I had this gross. I would get a knock on my door at like, you know, 12:30, 1:30, and I would, you know, the first time he knocked, and I was, got any condoms? Like, yeah, sucking condom. You know. And a couple days later, I would just start, I would just toss them underneath the door, just like, here you go. And then eventually I was out. I remember the last one. I put like I wrapped it in a piece of paper, going, "Last one."
You slide on the door, you hear an audible, "Oh,
shit." I guess we're going to the Walgreens on the way tomorrow. But dude. Jeremy, we had such a fucking blast working on that film, and you know, it's crazy because like,
too bad you couldn't have been his like comical sidekick
in everything,
like in Marvel with.
Dude, you know, technically, he should be thanking me because Blade paved the way for Marvel movies.
Yeah, damn right.
But
you guys are technically connected that way too now.
That's right. It's funny because someone said, "Wouldn't it be funny if Eric was in the Marvel universe?" Well, technically, I didn't think of it. You know, I keep on forgetting that Blade.
Yeah, is Marvel.
Is a Marvel. I mean, it was the first Marvel movie, I believe. Yeah. That came. Well, I mean,
they got some crazy cross happening coming up in a few years. Yeah. Give them a call. Be like, hey, y'all remember?
Yeah, well, I did write a lengthy letter to the director that backed out.
But it's the first good one for sure.
You know, and I wrote a lengthy letter saying, hey, you know, I could still, since I was in a prosthetic suit, I could still. And technically, Pearl did not disintegrate. Pearl just got fried.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And I said, but once again, also, you know, I look nothing like I look like that, so I could be a great victim.
That's right.
I could easily be someone's prey or a vampire. So, you know, but I didn't respond.
Or Blade's comical sidekick.
Or what? Or Ali? Is it what's his Masara Ali? What's the guy? What is that?
I forget his name.
I always forget how to pronounce his first
name. Dude. He was in Moonlight, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I believe he was in Moonlight.
Yes,
that's how good he is. We forget that he was, you know, he played you know, he played a gay gangster in. I think he was the gay gangster in Moon. That's to this day, Jimmy Kimmel.
He's so good.
He was crazy.
He's so good. He's already been a villain in the MCU on Netflix, and they brought him back to be Blade. I was like, come on, guys.
Was it Daredevil? Was he a villain in Daredevil?
No, it was Luke Cage. He was the big bad in Luke Cage.
Now, is Luke Cage worth me committing to?
I enjoyed season 1. I did not finish season 2.
Okay, like with Daredevil, I enjoyed most of Daredevil, and I'm gonna hate this. I don't mean it. There was one actor in that series that just whenever he popped on screen, I go, you are just not good. Everybody else is so good, but it just really made it unwatch. I mean, he just kept on taking me out of it, and it just really bummed me out because. I know I have the body of a man who may have read a lot of comic books in his day, but I did watch every film and cartoon about comic books. But I have a lot of friends out here that are deep, and like they're like you. I mean, they're into the world. I mean, they are committed. They know if there's a piece of trivia I don't know about. Whether it's Star Wars or comic books, I can make one text and I'll get the answer within like less than a minute and a half.
We're good friends to have.
they know the world, and they explained to me the whole thing about, like, there's the universe, there's the Avengers, and then there's the street level, like the whole. I was like, oh shit, this is really
the multiverse stuff. Yeah.
And like in the levels, like there's like how Daredevil and Blade.
Hey, that's how you can get in the Marvel universe, because of the multiverse.
I'm hoping, dude. Show me the penis I have to suck to get the part. I might think about it. or the vagina I have to diddle. Let me know.
Yeah, it's more on that line these days.
Yeah. No, I would love. I mean, no kidding.
I think it's Kevin Feige. You gotta tell him,
dude. I sent him like a message as well, saying, "Hey, let's
and you know what? He's into doing like some deep cuts in casting. So I would not be surprised. Honestly,
all I need is another lottery.
Try James Gunn.
What?
That's
Try
true.
James Gunn.
James Gunn just took over DC, so you might be able to squeeze in somewhere over there.
He brought in the Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yeah,
and
now him and some other guy is in charge of DC.
Yeah, Guardians 3 is coming out this year, and then he is in charge of the new wave of DC films. He made a huge announcement today, kind of letting everybody know what's going on, and it's insane.
Dude, I got to tell you something.
10-year project.
Guardians of the Galaxy, when I saw that in the theater, it reminded me of being a child again. Like,
yeah.
I was like, I wanted to go buy another ticket and go right back in. Yep. It was so. I was like, oh my god, this is what movies are meant to be.
What was so great was that it was a title that no one really knew. Like everyone was like, "What are we
off guard?" That's for sure.
Doing. And then it hit the screen, and there wasn't a scene in the movie that took me out. There was nothing. I mean, the whole thing was great.
And Chris Pratt, fuck, was he good?
Perfect casting.
Oh, yeah. So, I gotta tell you something. That's one thing Marvel has been really, I think, a little bit better than DC, is putting people with a sense of humor as heroes. And it's interesting because kind of Harrison Ford, although, you can't tell from his interviews, because he seems to be very serious and so serious in interviews.
He's funny as shit.
But dude, that guy's got comic timing. That dude.
Yes, he does. It's that smart ass humor part.
Absolutely. Well, even in American Graffiti, he had like that swagger and that. Dude, that's why I liked Solo, because I went in going, there's no way anyone. I know this kid is good. If anyone can, he might be able to. But I'm just going, no one is going to be a young Harrison Ford. And so I enjoyed it. I let myself, and I just, but then you realize after watching that, and you watched what fucking Harrison Ford did, you're like, God.
I don't know. I wonder if maybe Chris Pratt could play a Solo.
Well, they're so physically different because
they are. But they have that similar hairstyle, color.
Chris is a big guy. Chris, because I did get to work with Mr. Pratt in Parks and Rec.
Yeah, you did. And before he got in shape, though.
Yeah, he was a little chunky. But I didn't know this, but it's funny because I'm really into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and then I brought my gi with me when I brought my gear with me. To when we shot Parks and Rec, because I was like, if we wrap, because it was one scene, so I go, if we wrap quick, I'm gonna go fucking go to jiu-jitsu if I can,
Yeah.
This was an early call and stuff. And he's like, hey, do you roll? I was like, yeah. And I had no idea he was like a state champion wrestler. He actually narrates a documentary about his high school wrestling team, because I think they were undefeated for like 10 years, some crazy, and he was I was like, oh fuck, he was and I guess he actually was a male dancer at one time too.
Look out.
I think one of those things you see on the thing that pop up on your Facebook, hey, 5 actors that were male erotic dancers, and he popped up. But yeah, you're right as far as personality wise. He can totally be that Harrison Ford kind of hero. I mean, that's basically what Star Wars.
I mean, he can be a smartass, is what I'm getting at.
Absolutely. But
I think it was before they announced him as being the lead in the Jurassic Parks. They were talking about rebooting Indiana Jones.
Yeah, he was going to be Indy.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? I could see that. So.
Well, I was like, I thought they were going to pass the torch to him. Is what.
Originally, I think that was the plan.
Which they were originally going to do with Shia LaBeouf, but then
That one flopped.
Poor stuff
Yeah.
happened, which is a bummer. That they nuked the fridge.
Right. That was
But
awesome.
I'm kind of excited to see this Dial of. Is it called Dial of Time? Is that the?
Oh,
It's something. It's something. I
I'm
forget
forgetting the title, but yeah.
The trailer. The trailer looks better than what the last movie was. So I'm hopeful.
Oh,
I'm hopeful.
definitely.
You know, in look, you know, Harrison Ford's he's the fucking man. I mean, it's so weird when you know, granted he got so overlooked in Witness when he, you know, which is one of his non-franchise films, you know.
Right.
And you're like going, this motherfucker can. I mean, he was a really fucking good. He's a good fucking actor, and like crazy good. And then he did this presumed end. I mean, like there's like a string of movies that, you know, they were successful, and I think he might have been nominated a couple times. But you're like, well, fuck, this dude's. I mean, fucking Harrison Ford is no fucking joke.
Definitely.
That dude can fucking act, and you know, that's what.
Because I think the new one comes out this year, right?
Probably. You know, that Spielberg and Lucas can make. That Spielberg can make a movie. He's
right.
He's
and Ford is he's coming into the MCU. He's taking over for the actor that recently passed for
Red Hulk.
No, well, he's going to become Red Hulk, but the Thunderbolt
general.
Ross, the general that played Thunderbolt Ross that recently passed.
That's right.
Harrison Ford is taking over his role.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude,
he's going to debut. I believe they're going to debut him in Thunderbolts, which is a Disney Plus show.
Okay.
But he might show up in shoot. There's a show coming on before Thunderbolts that he might pop up in. It might be the what's the Skrull show coming up? What's it called?
Oh,
Secret Wars? No. The one with Samuel L. Jackson's going to be a big part of it.
I mean, if it's got the Skrulls, it would probably be the Secret Wars because that's what they were. Part of.
It's kind of debuting that on Disney Plus, but I think he might pop up in that series, but he's definitely going to also be. He's going to be leading Thunderbolts.
Dude, I gotta say that's kind of the neatest thing is like how cool Jeremy Renner, like his Hawkeye. I mean, like I love the series Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, God, you know, it's crazy because, you know, he does a lot of dramatic stuff, but he's a funny. He's got chops, man.
Yeah.
Well, and I remember when they tried to do him, Jason Bourne.
Dude, there is. Yeah. So when the last time I talked to Jeremy, he called, you know, because what it would be like, you know, I'd call him, you know, maybe like every 2 phone calls, he'd call me back. Then there was like a period of time that he called, and he was like, "Hey, sorry it took me so long to get back to you, but you know, I've been out of the country making a movie, and it was Hurt Locker." And then as soon as I hung up on him, the next time I answered my phone, and this is flip phone, everything crashed, like dead, lost the number.
Oh damn!
Everything like lost, and I was like, because he was like, you know, and then I don't think I've ran into. I haven't ran into him. I've had friends that have ran into him, and he speaks of me still fondly, and why shouldn't he? Because, you know, we were very, very close for a while.
Yeah.
I got him actually laid in Los Angeles. I'm not hard. I introduced him to a girl that I knew and said he was a good guy, and then, you know, nature took its course.
Right. Yeah, of course.
You know, but he in the Bourne whatever Legacy, I believe what it was.
I think it's Legacy. Yeah.
Legacy.
There's a moment which it's one of those things. If I ever get to run and have a nice, cool, relaxed conversation, when he finds out they refer to him as a number. You know, when he's talking to the girl and they're driving the car, and he's really pissed, and then he finds out they refer to him as basically he was only a number to them.
Yeah,
His reaction is fucking so. It caused the whole audience to erupt in laughter because it was so. He was genuinely like hurt that he was only a number to them. You know, it was so. It's like when you're going, dude, that's what that's like those precious moments where you're going, that you can't teach that. That is just organic. Him being fucking present,
mm-hmm.
You know, just trust in who he is, you know, kind of confident. I'm like, God, that's why. He's all those guys in the MC universe, you know, in the Marvel universe,
mm-hmm.
are so fucking good that they just make it like. to this day, like Captain America's not Civil War, but Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Was like 3 Days
Yeah.
of the Condor with superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it was
Yep.
really good. I mean, like insanely well acted and well told. I mean, like this, I'm glad they figured out the Hulk problem, because the problem with Eric Bana and the dude from American History X, Norton,
Yeah.
Jim
Edward
Norton.
Norton.
is they
Edward
didn't need
Norton.
to be the Hulk.
Jim Norton.
Yeah, Jim Norton, the comic, the little comic,
Yeah,
but, may or may not like, he's got some weird, some interesting proclivities, but though they didn't need to turn into the Hulk to kick someone's ass.
But
By casting Mark Ruffalo,
Yeah.
you can't see him whooping up on anybody.
yeah, like he was enough like Bill Bixby, like in other words, and he wasn't a pussy,
Yeah.
but
Right.
he would use his brain more. You know what I'm saying? Like it was it was just enough that made the Bruce Banner character believe. Like to me, that was what the missing link. Because Eric Banner, like, dude,
Well, I mean, because Ruffalo did a lot of comedic work more than anything with his career. So anything that comes close to like drama is still comedy driven in general.
Well, absolutely. Well, generally, yeah. If you got, I mean, it's funny when they asked Brando what did he do wrong with Streetcar Named Desire. He said he missed something. He missed more of the he missed a lot of comedy, like opportunities for laughs, and because you also need generally need like a laugh, a release button.
Yeah.
But I mean, Mark Ruffalo is such a great actor. But like more physically though, you look at him. Oh, also, Ed Norton can do some comedy too. I mean, Glass
definitely.
Onion, Glass, and then also the movie he made that he actually directed with Ben Stiller. That where Ben Stiller where he plays a priest.
That's to Smoochie.
Yeah, dude. I will fight you. Death to Suchi is a very funny movie.
Yes,
it is a funny movie.
It is filled with cliches. I don't give a fuck. But it was nothing's funnier than a kid's show, a guy doing a kid's show that's doing cocaine and has whores. That's just comedy.
That's hilarious.
It's a fun one.
It's funny. A buddy of mine just despised. He goes, "Oh, was there a briefcase full of?" Like he basically, they pulled every trope, but I think that was the point of the movie. Like sometimes when movies are they're yes, we are writing a lot of cliches here because that's what this movie is. They're not trying to be put upon. And I loved, also Robin was great, but Ed Norton for a guy who was Mr. Serious, because I came down to the wire for American History X between me and Ethan when Ethan was a big fella, Ethan Suplee. And I don't think Ed was digging what I was doing, but he was like Mr. fucking intense. Holy shit!
Yeah,
he was.
I think I've listened to some podcasts recently with him on it, and I think he's recognized that he was intense, and he's learned. He's like, I'm a little chill now.
I think so. And look, also here's what's so jacked up from being an actor, and I know is that a lot of it all comes from they just don't want to suck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if
you don't want to disappoint.
Yeah, if a grip fucks up, God bless him, but he's probably not going to be. He's going to get another job the next week. But if Ed Norton puts in a bad performance, people are going to go, "Hey, you were shit in that one movie." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see you in 5 years or something.
Yeah,
like that.
or just even that. It's like like for instance that the incident with Christian Bale that it all came from Chris. You could tell Christian was trying to do a good job.
Yeah.
That was in this guy's going and walking in front, doing all this shit when he's trying to focus, and he's not doing that when that guy's trying to do their job. And I've been there where we're trying to rehearse and guys are like, hey, can we go? We're trying to where can you let us do our thing? Or you're trying to do something. There's someone doing their job but not realizing their job is really fucking up your job.
Right.
And like and it's interesting because there's some guy that I'm really I'm somewhat of I'm a fan of, and I'm a fan of all the interviews this person's done. But I've heard a lot of inside gossip that he's a real cunt, and I'm not Ed Norton, but this other person. I go, I hope it's not true because he's so cool. He's so chill on Stern, you know.
Right.
he's so awesome on Stern. You know, like I hear like when I worked at Nielsen, I heard Ben Stiller was a handful at the test screenings that he directed, and I know why, because he wants the scores to be good.
Yeah.
You know, like I can understand why he's fucking a nervous wreck because
I think Tom Cruise would fit that criteria too.
probably, but that dude is
he's a daredevil.
He's on a whole other level.
So
in
I made this New Year's resolution like 7 years ago. I will not defend Tom Cruise anymore. The reason why is he's doing fine without me getting in a fight with someone on how good he is. Because I think I'm a big Tom Cruise. I think the dude is a fucking very underappreciated. He's obviously appreciated because he's almost every movie he's been has been a huge success. He's had a few Academy Award nominations. You know, he's quite good. But I would literally get in some fights like where I'm like going, you guys are really taking your hatred for Tom Cruise very personally. You know, like, and I just went, you know what? Tom Cruise is gonna be fine without me defending him. He's gonna be all right. You know, he's not sitting around going, Eric Edwards is so good in Problem Child 2. Hey, God damn it. You know, he's not sitting around defending me, so I'm not gonna ruin friendships over people, you know, for whatever their disdain for Tom Cruise is. You know, but I love him. I mean, that dude, you know, and I know people that work with him, you know, I'm real close with Jonathan Lipnicki. You know, I taught him. You know, he's first of all grown up to be a fucking very good actor. He played I wrote a play where I cast him as a young version of me.
Oh wow!
Where we would talk to each other. And dude, he was fucking. I mean, it's funny. My wife loves telling the story because it's very funny. I was teaching an acting class, and of course, I had not seen him since he was a kid.
Yeah.
And I used to always bring an example of Jerry Maguire is a really good acting movie. You know, like for what we what we teach in acting, it's very present in Jerry Maguire. You know, and he's on stage, and he had good exercise. And I was like, I was trying to inspire, and I said, "Have you ever watched Jerry Maguire?" And everyone laughed. And I go, "What?" Because there's a certain age where he might not have seen it because he's young. And they go, and then he gets off stage and someone goes, "He was the kid in Jerry Maguire." And I was like, "Oh,
you know what movie I had to watch with my college film class was a movie called Death of a Salesman with Dustin Hoffman."
Wow, and John Malkovich.
Yes.
Yeah.
And was Robert Wall in that?
I can't remember the other name, but I just know that them.
Oh no,
two
Kevin
for
Spacey.
Sure.
I think it was Kevin Spacey.
Oh, it might have been Spacey.
Oh my God, dude!
I think so.
Dustin, that's a fucking great one. Yes,
that's a really good movie. Like that, like when he showed that in the classroom, and after the movie was over, I was like, you know what? That's like the perfect movie to literally show in a film class.
Because that's not only is the play.
Because it's basically a play in motion.
Yeah.
And that's awesome to see because you got John Malkovich narrating it and acting in it at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, you do. And that's a crazy fucking John Malkovich. That boy, that motherfucker got some chops. That's like we go, we forget how you forget how like he was what made Space Force the TV series.
Yes.
Okay.
I love when he does comedy. Oh my God, I love when he does comedy.
Because
Malkovich,
Malkovich is anybody that can make fun of themselves.
Yeah.
Is just cool. It's funny because Laurie Metcalf tells a story that I guess she dated John Malkovich and Gary Sinise because she was part of Steppenwolf, and that's a badass actress right there. And her daughter, that's what's pretty cool is that you see as actors and you see people that are like, it's like anything else that I know how hard like how hard it is to do it, know, because especially on film is much. Doing a play is the actor's medium. That's made for the actor. That's for the actor to get the most out. The actor will get more out of doing a play than the audience will.
Yeah.
You know, and then TV is the writer's medium. You know, that's made for the writer to benefit the most of that. And then film is the director's medium and the audience's medium. Like that's that's supposed to get the director gets the most out of it, and the audience gets the most out of it.
Mm.
And so when you do film, because you do it, it's much more challenging to like know you, like, you know, it's the most challenging. It's easy, but it's the most challenging of like to perform the craft, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of fingers there are a lot of, you know, chefs in the, you know, that, you know, the writer writes a script and the director wants to do something. Well, then the studio gets involved. Then a star comes in. There's
rewrites and all that stuff.
Something that was supposed to be like, you know, for like look at Jaws. The mechanical shark was supposed to be much bigger presence, but because it kept on breaking down, he had to depend on the actors. And that's another one of those films that when you kind of watch, you go, I really want to do this, because when they're sitting around getting drunk and he does the Indianapolis speech.
Yes.
You know, you're like, fuck. That's another smart move of, like, you know, Spielberg. You know, that's another cool thing. Like I heard him in an interview and he said how he likes you know, he goes, I love actors. I appreciate actors. Actors will do things I'm not brave enough to do. You know, like he goes, actors will let themselves be embarrassed, you know, humiliated on, you know, in front, you know, and have it captured. I respect that. And then you see, like, his movies, no matter how technical they are, he always has really good actors.
Yeah.
In there, you know, and that's what I get bummed when they have like a big budget and they don't get good acters.
Right.
In it.
Yeah.
And
they spend it all on CGI.
or even worse, they want to hire the person that's he might not be an actor, but he's the real part, or she's the real part.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a movie called, and I love fucking Spike Lee. I think Spike Lee, especially his most recent stuff and his documentaries are, you know, and Do the Right Thing is one of my favorite fucking, I mean, like, he's a phenomenal filmmaker, but he made a movie, you know, that the movie about the basketball player. He hired like a real basketball player to play the lead. I mean, you know, and Denzel Washington is an amazing actor and an amazing basketball player, but the young man and look, I don't care if you didn't train as an actor. If you could do the job, you know, Rick Fox, I don't think took any acting classes, but Rick Fox can act.
Right.
You know, he can do. So far he hasn't fucked up with what he's been cast in. You know what I'm saying? And that I'm fine with that. But whoever they got, that kid sucked. And you're telling me you can't find a black actor in the United States, that cannot play basketball. You can't find one. You can't. I mean, Denzel can play basketball and he can act. You know, the guy from Hill Street Blues was actually the black officer from Hill Street Blues was actually captain of the Olympic basketball team in down in Mexico. So I know a lot. George Clooney plays basketball. So you're telling me you can't find a kid that goes to Juilliard, or a kid that goes to NYU, or a kid that goes to, you know, that knows how to act, that, you know, can play basketball good enough.
Right.
You know, and it just bums me out when you see, you know, because if, you know, when people take you out of the movie, you know, like you mentioned, you know, that you thought someone was going to take you out, you know, you're watching a movie and that dude just took me out of the movie, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, that sucks, especially when you have budget, you know? That's like another, like, I love Kevin Smith. Yeah. You know, I think, especially what he's done is like you know, he's the king of the indies. You know, like he really,
right.
And then to take it and make it such, you know, and like I like a lot of things about Clerks, but there was one actor in it that I was like, oh, he just isn't as good as everybody else. And you're telling me you live 20 minutes from New York City. You know what I'm saying? You can't, you know, you could have, You could,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
coulda,
so close.
coulda, but who the fuck am I? You know,
Right.
they're doing Clerks 3, so you know, but I'm a big fan of the kid that played the video. Um, the video, I know in the original he was the video. He was the one that worked at the video store.
Oh yeah. I forget
What's
his name, but yeah,
he's the second lead. He's the lead guy.
yeah,
It's
Yeah,
funny.
Randall. The
Yeah,
character's
Randall.
named Randall.
yeah.
Randall.
I forget the actor's name though.
Yeah.
Dude, that kid is a very talented. It's a buddy of mine from acting school. I think is his wife. They got married. I was like,
cool.
he's a really good actor writer. I'm nerdy now because he was exceptionally funny in Clerks, but he's just going through the list of the porn movies.
Yeah.
He's good, It's good.
I don't know why I'm blanking on his name either. That was one of my favorite movies in that era. I've just kind of lost interest.
That's another thing I love about Cat. I got to say something. That Clerks was so
Jeff Anderson.
It was so. That was a real fucking indie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really like, you look at it like what he did. Look, and he made I mean, it definitely resonated with people, and the whole concept of him and him and Silent Bob and oh my god,
Jason Mewes.
Jason
Mewes. Yeah.
Jason Mewes was a nice little fucking diamond in the rough too.
Yeah.
I mean, just like that little device he used.
Yeah.
That device was so, and it's funny. I love Chasing Amy. I think is a very, it's so funny. People like to, there was a time when people really gave like to bust Ben Affleck's balls for being successful, I guess, and good looking.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't know why.
He's became. I mean, like, I love Argo. I love The Town. The thing he just did with George Clooney at the Tinder bar. Oh,
haven't seen that. No,
it's really good, man. It's like, George Clooney directed the fuck out of that movie, and my boy Max Casella rips it up in that movie.
Oh shit!
The reason why I said he rips it up is I worked with Max for 3 months on Sergeant Bilko. He did my movie. I mean, we were like really close. It took me halfway through the movie to go, oh, that's fucking Max. Holy fuck. I didn't, normally I can recognize Max right off the fucking bat.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, oh, look at it. I mean, and he was so, it's nothing cooler when you know somebody and you know who they are, and then you see them do something that you just go, man, he did it. I mean, like, he really got an opportunity. I mean, like, he behaved like a Vietnam vet, a guy that, and I was like, look at Max do his fucking thing, and then he's great in Tulsa King. I love that, it's just really cool to see, like, guys that you drank beers with or went to strip bars with, that were, when I met Max, he was already, he'd already done Doogie Howser, so we used to joke around that he was more recognizable than Steve Martin. Because whenever we go, people are like, Max, and he was very cool to anybody who ever asked for an autograph or ever, he was very, very cool. But it was just very funny. We were joking, Steve Martin would be like, you're more recognizable than me.
That's what I was going to say earlier. You've just worked with some amazing people. I mean, throughout the movies, like, and like just Sergeant Bilko alone. I mean, Steve Martin, Phil Hartman,
absolutely,
Dan Aykroyd.
Yep, Chris Rock.
I mean, Chris Rock.
Was packed.
I mean,
he was packed.
You worked with some heavy hitters, and I mean that movie. I would consider you have a lot of screen time in that movie. Yeah, you're like almost like I would call like maybe fourth or fifth lead. Maybe
just to let you know, I was it went Steve Martin. Was as far as like the test score, because we looked up the test scores for that as well, and Steve Martin, Phil Hartman, and then I beat out Aykroyd.
Oh damn!
Wow!
He was the most popular in the film.
Nice.
And it was interesting because I almost didn't get the part because Universal really wanted it to be an all SNL cast.
Oh.
And the studio wanted Chris Farley. And
Oh, yeah.
the director fought for me.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
And
Pamela Adlon in there. She's hot,
dude. Johnny Ortiz and I me and Johnny became really close during that film. Real close. And it's like the first day of shooting or something, and we're at our trailer, and Johnny and I are just we're smoking cigarettes, and she comes out of her trailer, and she just flashes us and then goes back in, and we go,
it's gonna be a good day.
No, we just went, thank you. Dude, she was and dude, her I gotta say, this is the lib in me. Her show that she did, her Better Things, is, I would say, truly a female driven show. Like, it's written like it's not guys writing for women or girls writing or women writing what they think people. It's like it's a female job. I mean, and she directs the shit out of it, and you find out how much work. I mean, it's pretty cool, man. And we used to play this game. We used to play this game on the set of Bilko where we name 3 actors. You got to guess what film they're in. What film we're talking about, and we don't realize that she's been working since she was like, I think 7. So it's like, I remember we went to Say Anything, and she goes, you can't name a movie that I've been in. Like we'd go, and find out, yeah, she's I want to say she was in a relationship with Dean Cameron for a while.
Oh wow.
From Miracle
Deborah.
Beach and School, and Summer School. It's because I think I might have originally met her on the set of Miracle Beach. She was there hanging out with Dean at the time, but I didn't say anything. Then you got to work with her, and she of course played Bobby Hill, which is one of the fucking coolest characters of all time.
Yeah,
All right,
Deborah Jo Rupp was in it as well.
Who?
Deborah Jo Rupp from That 70s Show.
Oh yeah, was in.
Yeah, she was in Sergeant Bilko.
Was
she? She was Dan Aykroyd's wife.
Holy fuck!
Yeah, yeah.
Holy fuck!
Put it on the list of people.
Yeah.
Oh, dude! Oh my god! Because she's just so fucking adorable. I remember when I showed up on the set of when I showed up for the table read. Well, first of all, I had to fight for that part because I went to the casting. Got the call back to meet with Brian Grazer, and the scene one of the scenes they wanted me to audition with was the scene where I'm it said comes in weeping. The stage direction is comes in weeping. Sarge, goes, what's the matter? I gained 3 pounds. Oh, funny, it doesn't show. You know what I'm saying? It's that scene,
Yeah.
So, and it was like the third on the, it was the third scene. And I go, can I do that first? And she, they thought, and I came in, I'm supposed to be Doberman. So Doberman is I look, is a slob.
Yeah.
So I was dressed like a kind of a slob kind of guy. And I was wanting to do that scene correctly. And I guess it kind of turned Brian Grazer a little off, And so I get the call going, hey, they want to see you again, but can you not come in character? And I was like, oh shit. They want to think they want to know if I can work and play with others. Okay. So I went in like fucking clean shit. I mean, I looked as sharp as a 275-pound guy could look,
Right.
I went, and it's funny because I didn't know who Brian I knew who Brian Grazer was, but I didn't know what he looked like. But I was a big fan of, all his fucking work. And I go walking in, and, they go, which scene do you want to do? I go, I'll do this scene. They go, do you want to stand or sit? I go, well, I'm supposed to be laying down, so I guess I'll sit. And she goes, actors. And I go, what would you like me to do? I go, how would you like me to do it? And then Brian goes, why don't you sit down? I said, okay, that's easiest. I'll do that. So I was so cooperative. And then after the whole thing was done, he goes, yeah, you're pretty smart for a fat guy. I go, what?
Oh wow.
I went, excuse me? Well, lad, you came in this weird, kind of weird, doing this weird thing, and now you're wearing a bright green shirt. And I went, okay. And I go, and what's your name again, sir? Brian Grazer. He goes, Brian Grazer. I go, oh, real genius, Brian Grazer. Brian, well, I'm a big fan. I walk out. Luckily, I knew his list of not just the obvious, not like the obvious stuff, but going old school like Real Genius and his early stuff.
Right.
I was like, oh, they got it. That pulled that out. Then of course, I went straight from there. I went right to my agent's office because it was right down because also at the time we were in negotiations for Problem Child 3. They shot literally the same time. I did both at the same time, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
And then I got the call that they wanted me, and then we started arguing over. They were going off on. We were working on trying to get money, and I guess Jonathan Lynn, which just the sweetest guy in the world, and one of the coolest things about him is if you ever listen to an interview of anybody from Mighty Python, they will always bring. They'll all tell they'll make a Jonathan Lynn. They'll mention Jonathan because I guess he used to work work with them.
Yeah.
And then you go, oh fuck, he's that deep into he's that deep into comedy.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I guess he told me he's the reason why I came in the third time because he wanted to hire me from the second audition. And he fought for me. He basically said it's either I'm directing this film or I'm not directing this film.
Yeah.
And either I get to cast, or I don't, and obviously, Steve Martin was already attached to it. He brought it to, he didn't bring it to them, but he was, it's so weird because in retrospect, Steve Martin is fucking great. He was great in that as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. But who I think was more physically right for it? I think John Lovitz.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because Steve Martin's a good-looking motherfucker. You ask, especially any woman close to his age, like, oh, he's so handsome. He's so good-looking.
Kind of looks the same.
He doesn't age. Him and Amy Aspect, they just don't fucking age. And because I don't know if Phil Silvers is not a handsome man. He was not a handsome man, and Steve Martin was so fucking cool. And that the first day I show up we show up for this table read. Max is one of the first people I meet. And of course, I knew him from Doogie Howser, even though I didn't watch it much. But I go, he's a kid from Doogie Howser, and people started trickling that were obviously the platoon. One of the guys, Pamela walked in, and I think I ran into her at the first casting thing, and we kind of started talking to each other. Mitchell Whitfield, who was in My Cousin Vinny.
Oh, nice.
So we all started talking, and then there's this the girl that played Jenny Piccolo from Happy Days. She's Phil Silver's daughter.
No.
And she keeps on looking at me like giving me the stink eye. And she comes up to me and she goes, you're playing a legend, right? And I was like, okay. And then of course I compartmentalized and went, oh, she probably was sat on Doberman, the original Doberman's lap. She, and she was a little this was my dad's show. And, there's a lot of deep pride. Then after the reading, we did the reading, we're introducing ourselves. I go, Eric Edwards, I play Doberman. And it's funny, Steve Martin popped up to look to see who was playing. It was really kind of because Doberman was such a beloved character.
Yeah.
In the show, which I found out from older folk. And then as soon as we got done, I said my first line, whatever, the fucking place erupted. People were laugh. I mean, I had a really good read. As soon as the table reading ended, Steve Martin walked up, went right to me and said, Steve Martin, nice to meet you. And I was like, oh. you know,
Yeah.
you're the reason why I do this. You know, you're the reason why I do this. I didn't say that, but you know, I suddenly turned into Chris Farley from the Chris Farley Show. You know that when you did the jerk, that was cool. You know, I just so fucking starstruck. And then, of course, Phil Silver's daughter came up to me and said, "I think you're going to do a good job with this." I was like, "Whew. Okay, good, because I just don't want you mad at me the entire time."
Right.
And then, you know, it was cool. And then, like, you know, our first day of rehearsal, I went outside, smoked a cigarette. Dan Aykroyd bummed a cigarette from me, you know. And I'm like, fuck, you're right. And I keep on going back. I'm a fucking kid from Kansas. Basically grew up an orphan, you know, knew no one in the business, met everyone, like, you know, by a twist of fate.
Yeah. Real.
Made this thing kind of happen.
Like good timing.
Yeah, just really, you know, like I said, but here's what I found out. Everything successful in Hollywood for the most part is a lottery win.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
You know, who would have known Problem Child 2 would be such a success on you know, like where people will call me, hey, that movie, you know, where a guy that's a star of a movie that's a hit on Hulu right now would randomly text me and say, hey, that movie meant something to me. You know what I'm saying? You know, I did a commercial for a beer called Ice House Beer in the early 90s. It ended up becoming a 5-year campaign. That's a lottery. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, they're lottery wins, you know?
I mean, obviously it's the right place at the right time, but you were a great physical comedian. I mean,
thank you.
You stood out in all those roles. That's why you kept getting roles, because you were good. Yeah.
Why can't they be out in LA smoking legal weed like you too?
I'm not just trying to blow smoke up your ass. You're just really good in those roles. I mean, you really stand out. I mean,
thank you.
That's the
you do
the whole
like
point. Yeah.
Problem Child 2, being Murph and stuff like that. The very first time we see you, hey Murph, what's 3 plus 2?
5.
I can't remember. It's like I do. That's so interesting. I wonder, like, I
That's
do
the
know
right
a lot of lines. That because it was my first movie, really. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think I have like I still have 85 to 95% of those lines fucking still in my fucking head. You know? But there really weren't that many. Like I said, I remember on senior trip. This one of the Canadian crew members, really, you know, he's an ex hockey, you know, hockey guy, fucking very funny.
Mm-hmm.
You know, had that crew swagger. You know, like going, I fuck leading ladies because I you know, I'm good looking. I could be an actor, but I decided not to be, and I'm a jock. Okay,
Yeah.
so okay, and I called him like I said, okay. I said, oh, okay. You glorified electric boy. So I can't remember what that kind of a derogatory term for electrician, you know, that you use in the film. You know, not best boy, but like it's some term I picked. It's been so long since I've used it. Picked it up that he like goes, okay, whatever you say, you glorified Foley artist. I was like, oh, you're right. All I do, I'm making the sound effects. You know, ooh, you know. I was like, damn. I was like, okay, now I understand why you got Christina Applegate, you motherfucker. Okay, I get it. I understand. All right, you got jokes. So I was very. I've been very lucky.
I like when you're staring at the girl's tits and she slaps you. That's your comic timing is that it's just fun.
Well, I'll be honest. I stole that from Jack Nicholson. I heard a story about Jack Nicholson had one line in this big, one of the studio, like early studio movies that he did, where he's supposed to literally come in, have somebody sign for a package, and he hands the clipboard to the guy to sign for it. And there's a hot chick that walks by, and he just checks out her ass, and the studio head's like, who the fuck is this guy? So whenever I'm playing a straight character, which is often, if there's a good looking girl, I'm gonna probably, if I'm not in a relationship, I am gonna probably, in the context of the screen, I'm gonna probably take a look, and if I am in a relationship, even more, that I'll try to sneak a peek.
Right.
Because I'll be that guy that will try to.
I almost get the feeling you'd be a good addition to the movie Road Trip.
Dude, I would have. Oh, that's not Steve. That's not Steve Zahn. It's who he was an American Pie. Stifler, the kid who played Stifler.
Oh yeah,
that's Road Trip, right?
Yes.
Dude,
Yeah.
and also DJ Quayle. Holy, I mean,
Sean William Scott.
Yeah, right.
I got it.
Sean
Sean
William
William Scott.
There it is.
Yeah.
Sean William Scott is so fucking underappreciated. That dude.
I agree.
Oh man, he is. Well, it's interesting. He remember was it Final Destination? He's in the first Final Destination, right? I think.
Is he?
I think he might be. And he's the only good actor in it. It's so weird because
You don't like Devin Azal?
I was so I thought they were just models getting their head cut off, except for him. He was like, it's so weird. Like you look at like the original Halloween
Mm-hmm.
and the original Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
The original Friday the 13th had Kevin Bacon in it.
Yes, it did.
Yep.
And was Jamie Lee Curtis also in the original Friday the 13th? I know she was in Halloween. I think she might, because she was a Scream Queen.
She was in Halloween.
For sure.
No.
In Halloween.
Yeah,
too.
Laurie Strode. I think I heard a rumor that she was gonna be she auditioned or something like that. Maybe.
I wish we had this device that we could punch in a name.
Right? I think John's all over it. I didn't type it.
But I mean,
I'm using my phone.
You had really fucking good actors
Oh yeah.
in these. That's why Scream was so good.
Yeah.
Jamie and I used to be very close at one time. He thanks me in his book. But Scream was. I mean, like when you put once again, if you put really good actors in any genre,
Mm-hmm.
it can be phenomenal. I mean, look. I mean, technically, Boogie Nights, is a very tame. It's about the porn industry, so it ends up having a lot of very graphic scenes in it. But you have
Yeah, I've seen it.
It's so fucking well acted.
Oh yeah.
It's insane. It's good.
It's just sad at the end. It was really a prosthetic.
It was. What makes me? You know what makes me really sad about that movie? Mark Wahlberg always motherfucks that movie. he regrets doing it, and it's like such,
like Jennifer Aniston with Leprechaun.
Yeah, like what?
I can understand Leprechaun, but Boogie Nights is
To me, it's actually a really good movie.
beyond good. They
Oh, yeah.
captured the kind of, and I mean this because
The dark side of that industry.
well, not only the dark side, but the humanity in it. Like there's a very particular cognitive dissonance that a pornographer has to have
Yeah.
to get through life because of all the social norms that they do, the mental gymnastics to get through there, that they captured that unawareness that Mark Wahlberg captured in that like in John C. Reilly. Oh no, we're musicians.
Yeah.
We have to get the tapes.
Yeah.
Before we can pay you. That them and Don Cheadle saying, no, I'm an actor. No, you're a pornographer, sir. No, I'm an actor. Like that. That's that dimness. And it's interesting because I got invited to a party that was put on by some pornographers, and it's a phenomenal character study because you're going, there's a certain lack of awareness or a certain thing you got to do to like get through life, and that's why they hang in that's why they become families, because no one else will understand
Right.
what they do and judge what they do.
Yeah.
That it's like I said, that movie was, I mean, in Paul Anderson fucking directed
Paul
the
Thomas,
fucking shit out of that movie.
Yeah.
Like, like you go, and that's why like I get bummed when like I wish to God I mean that's like it's interesting. I never motherfucked Blade because that is to me that so I mean like that is undeniably a very good movie. That is, especially, and it also was one of the first movies that made gore popular. Like it was a really well done movie, start to finish.
Yeah.
I would never like say, oh, it's a superhero movie or it's a comic book movie. No, it's a really great movie.
It's a good story. It's just
Yes.
really good story.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And that's why, like, I get bummed when, like, you go, dude, you did some art and you're motherfucking it because, you know what, God, you say Jesus makes you feel ashamed of that. I think you made those people human, man. You know,
Right.
You know, I mean, that's what you do. You know what I mean? That's like, I don't know. I would love to have been in something. I would love to still be in something like of that where you like undeniably everybody goes, that's a fucking good movie. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, that's a
A24, that studio seems to do that, where they just tell really good stories with their movies, like Brendan Fraser as the whale. You know, I've been hearing nothing but good about that movie, and it's not supposed to be some type of like CGI work or anything like that, like Marvel movies. No. It's a heartfelt story.
That's Darren Aronofsky, though. I think he's probably the master of that story. So,
isn't he? I mean, dude, I mean, it's like that fucking dude's ballsy, man. I mean, like, did he do the wrestler? Right? He did the wrestler, right? Yes.
I
think he did.
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what's so weird is that's what I like about him. Before he can break rules, and then he can play by the rules.
Right.
You know, like if you think about the wrestler, any one of us could have technically made that movie.
Yeah.
There was no CGI. There was no big crowd. You know what I'm saying? It was all
location. That was it.
Very, very manageable. Like as far as not, you know what I'm saying? You just need. And he fucking directed the motherfucking shit out of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all he had was a script and good actors.
Yeah.
And he fucking said, oh, "Okay, you know, I'm not gonna have talking refrigerators. I'm not gonna have Jennifer Connelly fucking double dildo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not gonna be doing any CGI, any special effects. I'm gonna do a fucking straight up story." About a guy that's on his way, a guy dealing with his mortality. And I fucking
Marissa Tomei, wasn't she in The Wrestler?
And showing a little little frontal at 40.
Yeah.
God bless her.
Yeah.
Oh,
to me, she still looks good. I don't care.
Oh, she is, and she's so good. Yeah. Such a good fucking. I loved her. Of course, she was great in My Cousin Vinny. Yeah, she won an Academy Award.
But she did so much more. Yeah,
absolutely. Like her small role in Slums of Beverly Hills.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
She was just like, I go, man, she's just a good, and I've heard nothing but very she's. Jonathan Lynn tells a very sweet story about her.
Like she's funny, she's charismatic,
he said
good-hearted.
He cast her because he was looking for the person to play opposite Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
And they kept on getting suggestions like, Gina Davis, who's a great actress at the time, but she's 6 foot.
Yeah. That would have been ridiculous.
5'4". You know what I'm saying? All these people that are just like, he goes, it's going to be really hard to shoot. He just goes, they just weren't, they just weren't the part. And he was talking to John Landis on the phone, and John Landis said, you seem troubled, Jonathan. What's going on? He goes, well, I'm having a hard time finding this woman to play opposite Joe Pesci in this comedy. Mm-hmm. And John Landis goes, well, I'm working with this girl, Marissa Tomei, and it was the movie with the mobster comedy with Sylvester Stallone that Marissa Tomei played his daughter, I believe.
Oh,
and
I think I know
Oscar, something. It's a very obscure. Wasn't a big movie, but he goes, I think you should give this girl a try. And he goes, can I see some footage on her? And he get her some footage, and he goes, okay, that's the girl. He goes, she can do it. This is because she's doing the New York thing and all that stuff. And he just he hired her because John Landis gave him some footage, and the rest is and he said,
and fun fact, the judge is Munster.
That's right.
The what? Yes, Herman Munster. Oh my God, yes. Yeah. Ed fucking Gwynn.
Yeah.
Did you say Utes?
Utes?
And also, Ralph Macchio was great in it. Mitchell Whitfield was great, and then Austin Pendleton, the stuttering attorney. who was also in Sergeant Bilko.
I love that character,
dude. Well, he's a real stutterer. That he has a real, it's funny. Him and James Earl Jones both have, and John Ortiz. They all have kind of stutters. So Austin Pendleton, Jonathan knew he was a stutterer and just said, "Just let it go. just do."
It's funny you say that because I've noticed a lot of actors when they're, of course, not acting in front of camera and stuff, and behind, they stutter a lot. And Johnny Depp does it himself.
Could, that also could be all the drugs he
drugs. I'm thinking the same thing.
That too, but I've just noticed watching his old interviews and even more recent and stuff like that, he's always had some type of stutter.
Yeah, well, it's interesting about he is when he is good, he is great. Like,
oh yeah.
Like I like Finding Neverland and Ed Wood.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Eating Gilbert Grape. He's just, and also Benny and June.
I love that movie.
The scene where he's talking to is it the older brother of Mary Stuart Masterson.
Yeah.
And he's like, so he's trying to find out if she's mentally disabled. Other than just he's trying to figure out, like, is she just kind of like quirky, or is she really should I? It's just like you look at it and go, that's just how somebody who's a little down on their luck would be. Okay, I need to find out because I just don't want to be a bad person.
Right.
Oh, of course. And before I forget, got a message for you, Brendan, who does his What Movie One YouTube channel, told me to tell you hi.
Basically. Oh, Brendan! Oh, dude, that dude is such a cool. He's such a good dude. I fucking adore that man. He is such a good. I've known him for 20, close to 20 years. Just randomly run into he used to be real close. He's real close to my friend Dante, phenomenal stand-up comic and civil rights activist. I got to throw that in, and just all around good fucking dude Dante is. But I met him. Dante introduced me to Brendan, and I really love the kid. He's just a very smart film nerd. I say with and I am one as well, but. Filmophiles. Is that the correct term?
So then you knew him during his when he worked at Blockbuster. Then I guess.
Well, it's funny. He invited me. There was a Blockbuster pop-up bar in LA recently, and he invited me. I was bummed that there was no Eric Edwards movie in there. God damn it!
What the hell?
They had something like you have this, but you don't have Problem Child 2 or Beverly Hillbillies or Little Rascals. Right? What up?
Oh, I know.
You don't have Blade. It was I just adore, I just met him. He's just one of these, just a sweet guy I've gotten to know over the years. And like, yeah, he's a talented, he's a really cool podcast. Would you call him more of a YouTuber or a podcaster or both?
YouTuber. He does he usually used to make his channel Tuesday hunting for movies because that's when the movies would come out.
Oh, that's right.
And he would always call it hoarding up, though.
Okay.
But
hoarding up.
I have a question here. It's been up on the screen for a while.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully, Giuseppe Andrews. Hopefully.
Oh, hey Giuseppe.
And he wants to know what roles do you have coming up? And he says he always has been. Said,
a great.
What roles does Eric have coming up? And he always has been a great genuine actor.
Well, dude, that's very Giuseppe. That's very nice of you. I appreciate it. Actually, I've gotten. There's this. It hasn't been released yet, but there's this really phenomenal web series I'm part of. That has been. I'm shocked that the young lady that wrote, directed, and stars in all of them has not gotten a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's one of the best things I've been a part of. And considering that we're doing it, it's on a she's doing it on a micro, like an insanely micro budget.
Right.
And she's written I believe she's written all the fucking episodes and directed all the episodes, and I've laughed out loud at every of the, all, like everything. And it's one, like, I think it's gotten into 20 some festival, like it's 20 some festivals, some shit like that. And it's won like almost every festival it's been in. And I'm like, I'm shocked that she hasn't gotten a deal, because a woman comedy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you going,
Yeah.
what do you need to do? She's writing, directing, and producing. I mean, it's funny, like, really. And it all takes place in apartments, in an apartment. She's like a rental agent for a luxury apartment. It's really, really fucking insane. I'm very proud of that. That's basically the only thing that got, because remember, there was a thing called a pandemic. And,
right. Little thing happened. Yeah.
And like, I've been up for well, and then there was something that I did, which it's very funny, because when I first got it, I was like, oh, the guy was like, yeah, we're talking to Crackle and Hulu, blah blah blah, and then you show up on the set, I got paid, but you start realizing, oh, this is self-financed, which is fine. Luxury rentals self-financed, but I was aware going in, and then, suddenly just things that, I was funny in it. It was good. It was a great experience, but I don't think it's going to see the light of day. And, but so long story short, unfortunately, Giuseppe, I only got luxury rental that I know for sure should be coming out eventually. And it's just, I'm in just one of the episodes. I have a kid now, so who has he's got special needs. So I'm his kind of his caretaker. So I've had to turn down things if it didn't pay enough, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like when you go, okay, for my wife to take off work, or for me to get someone to take care of him, and like I said, if it's a studio movie or a studio or a television show, that's a no-brainer. But there's a couple things where I'm going, if you just I can't ruin my life. And also, nothing's worse is, and like I said, I love everything I've been in, especially now that I'm older. I appreciate Sergeant Bilko more. I appreciate Problem Child 2. I appreciate all the people that I really appreciate all the people that really love that movie. Like like I said, I wish I could have had that appreciation when I was like younger. I wish I could have enjoyed it.
A lot of us do, I've noticed. Like, when we get older, we just tend to look back at our lives and go, why didn't I care about that back then?
That thing more. Why didn't I enjoy the process more? Why didn't I enjoy that space more? Yeah, absolutely.
Because I do that to my son. I say, the reason why I tell you the things I tell you is because I want you to be better.
Yeah. And I want you to enjoy it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that being said, I can't be the biggest name in the project.
Yeah.
I can't, you know what I'm saying? And if I am going to be the biggest name in the project, I have to make sure I don't lose money on it.
Right.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I've made enough stuff where only my friends saw. Okay. Only my close friends saw. They like me. I need to make things where people who don't know me, or people go, oh my God, he's doing this now. That's cool. So unfortunately, Giuseppe, I just got luxury rentals. The only thing that's going to be probably released. I don't know if it's officially been released. I know she's holding out on it. Like I said, she's going to be, I think she's going to be putting it up soon, but it's, I would say I am middle of the pack. I'm in the middle of, there are people that just got some, I'm tipping my hat to, the script that they got. Like, in other words, it was like, she's this girl Narmar, Hannah. She's funny. It's one of those, she was one of my acting students, and she was. It's like I look back and I go, thank God I never hit on her. I never, and thank God she never fake flirted with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, thank God, thank God it's only been appropriate. You know what I'm saying? But she was always one of these actresses where she was always good, always good. But she didn't let you know how great she really was.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Until like she has a script that's winning all these screenplay contests. Like you go, wow, because there's some people like, there's some people who go, oh, this person's destined to be a star, and then there's those people that go, oh fuck, you're the one who's ham and egging it and grinding it out. You're the real fucking talent.
Yeah.
You know, you're the real talent. And she's one of those people where you and what it was, I ended up like running into her like a couple years after she left the school and I stopped teaching and stuff. And I go, you know, I go, hey, how, you know, we're talking, how are you doing? What you just, well,
Yeah.
project that it's an all, you know, it's an all woman crew, an all women producing, you know, like that's their big hook is that. And I go, well, you know, if I can help out in any way, let me know, because first of all, anyone who's like really trying to do something, you know, I'm always there to help, you know what I'm saying, you know. And she's like, well, you know, would you come in, you know, and actually the director, Rainey Kerwin, I think is her name. She's like, she's doing great. And it's one that, like I said, I have like, I think 2 lines in the movie, this thing called The Wedding. It's a wedding invitation or something like that, where you look at it and you go, fuck, they made a fucking really good feature. And if they would have had just a slightly bigger budget.
Yeah.
The only reason why this is not, it's a great movie for what, like, I hate saying, that's a great movie for what they had.
Mm-hmm.
If they would have, the reason why, if she would have had a slightly, just a slightly bigger budget.
Yeah.
Anything that they kind of had to like rush wouldn't have had to been rushed.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because, you know, when I don't know if you guys have ever made your own films or you've been around, you know, there are some times where you go, if we just would have had one more take.
Yeah.
Or if we could have just got that scene.
No,
we ran out of money. You know, or if we could have got that actor, but we couldn't afford him, or we couldn't get a you know, like I remember I got to do this really cool movie. It's one of the best scripts I got to do. Once again, I ended up being the biggest name in the fucking thing. But I wish I would have met the guys like 4 months earlier before they started casting.
Mm-hmm.
Because the script was good enough that I could have maybe, you know, went to like, you know, one of my buddies, like one of my buddies, Mark Pellegrino.
Oh,
who would have like really,
he played Lucifer on Supernatural, right?
Yeah, and then, you know, like he would have been like, it would have been like he would have loved to have played this part.
Yeah,
you know, because it was like, you know, and you know, or my buddy Mike Callio did this. It's one of the best. Like, it's funny. I got to work with the kid, the Korean kid from the Marvel universe. He was in Captain America, and then they brought him back in at the high school of the most recent Spider-Man series. Kenny. Shit.
Yeah.
He's so good.
I forget his name.
So good. He's in everything. He was in Wolf of Wall Street. He was on Last Man on. I mean, he was played Judge Ito in the O.J. Simpson miniseries. Kenny Choi, is that it?
That sounds.
But he was
close.
Could be. I don't know why I'm thinking Ortega.
I don't. But I did this kid Michael Callio had this movie. He goes, hey, would you do a scene in this movie called Koreatown? And I showed up. You know, he's my buddy. I had nothing else to do. I showed up. You know, Kenny Choi, me, this other guy, Dad. Like, basically, it's all his friends that are really good actors. Yes, boom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this kid's fucking crazy good, and it is the best acted scene in this movie. Now he comes, you know, and it's actually a really good movie. But it's funny because we saw a screen of it. He goes, "Is there anything I can cut?" And I go, "Well, I'll be quite honest." The scene me and Kenny are in, you don't need it in the movie. He goes, but it's the best acted scene in the movie. I'm like, okay, well, I was just telling you. I was like, look, you're right, you know, but, you know, and unfortunately, the lead was a buddy that he knew would show up on time, would stay on his, you know what I'm saying? If I would have met him, like, just a little earlier, I might have been able to get him someone who's just a little bit better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, you know, and that's when you have money and you have a budget. It gives you those things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and you know, like, you know, once again, you know, Kevin Smith to do what he did, or Brothers McMullen, those guys, that whole.
Richard Linklater's another good.
Oh, that motherfucker did it right.
Yeah.
Spikes,
Slackers. Yeah.
And then to come out with, and then Dazed and
Dazed.
Confused.
Yeah.
Oh, Dazed and Confused is one of my favorites.
It is so
coming to 4K, by the way.
Oh, it is. Wow, that's great. It's
from
when
Criterion.
You look at it and you just go, how was it? Jason London or was it his brother? Because they're twins.
It was.
I think it was Jason.
It was Jason. Yeah.
Jason.
Yeah.
You just look and you go.
Yeah.
I mean, they were fucking so. The weakest link was the young kid,
and
he didn't suck. He just was. Everybody else was.
Yeah.
And Ben Affleck being in that movie too.
Yeah,
Matthew McConaughey.
And well, and then I mean, so many fucking great. I mean, what's his name? The Goldberg. Adam Goldberg, right? Yeah.
Adam Goldberg. Yep.
Yeah. It's so crazy because that fight scene he has in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I come from that reminded me of the Kagers in Kansas. You accidentally say the wrong thing to somebody, just in passing, and next thing you know, oh my god! And then you're so angry that you got like humiliated. That I was like, god damn, Adam Goldberg's another fucking. He's a diamond in the rough. He's a guy that I don't see enough.
Yeah.
He's a good. That whole fucking. I mean, Richard Linklater.
Yeah.
Fuck is he? I mean, he's a great fucking. He's a great.
And when he's kind of stuck. He's done a few movies that have had larger budgets, but he's kind of stuck to the independent.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess he's
framing,
never really he's never done like a he's never. I don't know if he's passed on it or whatever, but he's never done like a a marvelous like a big huge like even Cameron Crowe has kind of like done some bigger kind of bigger things, where I think Richard Linklater, maybe he just did that sort of Austin, Texas, kind of that. Yeah. He did School of Rock, though. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
I think if you got Alex Proyas, who directed The Crow into the Marvel or DC, you would have some really dark movies.
Yes, absolutely. Well, dude, The Crow was so dark. Holy fuck.
Oh yeah,
very noir. So to speak.
It was. And then considering, it's so funny because I was dating a girl at the time, or shortly after the time when her best friend was like thought The Crow was amazing, and she was like a real anti-violence girl. Both of them. Uh-huh. She goes, Brendan Lee must be really good looking if my friend really likes him. Well, he's a good looking dude. But it was such a. It's so funny because I remember I was so excited, interested to see The Crow 2, and I walked. It's one of the few movies I've walked out of.
Like, really? I actually enjoyed City of Angels for what it was.
You can go down a rabbit hole. You can go down a rabbit hole on YouTube. Apparently, there was a lot of interference from the studio, and
I can imagine. Yeah.
If there is a way to do a director's cut, apparently that movie would be 20 times better than it is.
And
I believe
you go down a deep rabbit hole on that thing.
Well, you could be right because the studio cut of Once Upon a Time in America is unwatchable. But the 4-hour director's cut is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see that. Yeah. All right, guys, it's 6:09. I got.
Yeah, no, I was about to.
Oh yeah.
This is our cutoff time. We really, really appreciate having you. I think out of anything, we can actually start the hashtag MCU Eric Edwards. I think that.
Let's start that MCU
Eric Edwards, depending on which one you prefer. But
whatever you guys, I'll just trust you guys. But thank you guys. If you ever want me back, give me a holler. And
definitely,
it was a great time talking to you guys.
Yes, thank you very much, Eric.
All right, my
pleasure,
pleasure.
man. Really appreciate
you guys have a good night.
All right, you too.
See ya.
Take care.
Have a good one.
See ya. Can you hang around for a minute?